There is a moment in every great athlete's career when the question is no longer how good they are, but how much longer they can sustain it. When age becomes the opponent no training regime can defeat, no sports science can fully delay, and no amount of talent can simply override. The 2026 World Cup in North America will be a tournament of firsts, the first with 48 teams, the first held across 3 countries simultaneously, the first in which so many of the matches will take place in extreme heat and humidity. But it will also be remembered for something else entirely. Something more personal, more emotional, and more historic than any format change or venue decision. This tournament will be the last for an entire generation of footballers who redefined what was possible in the modern game. Players who have dominated the sport for 2 decades. Players who built legacies that may never be equaled. Players who are even now defying the logic of time itself. Welcome to Everything About Football. These are the oldest players at the 2026 World Cup, and the extraordinary stories of why they are still here. Cristiano Ronaldo, Portugal, age 41. Let us begin with the record holder, the most decorated individual goal scorer in the history of men's international football. Cristiano Ronaldo arrives at the 2026 World Cup at the age of 41, making him almost certainly the oldest outfield player at the entire tournament, and in doing so, he completes a record 6th World Cup appearance. No male player in history has ever made 6 World Cup appearances. Ronaldo is alone in that achievement. His international record is staggering: 226 caps, 143 international goals, both world records. A career that began at Euro 2004 when he was a 19-year-old winger with extraordinary pace and audacious skill, and has evolved through every stage of physical and technical development into something that defies categorization. In recent seasons, playing in Saudi Arabia for Al Nassr, Ronaldo has continued to score with remarkable consistency. His manager Roberto Martinez called him up knowing that his presence, his leadership, his experience, his ability to produce decisive moments remains valuable even at an age when most players retired a decade ago. But the World Cup is the one prize that has eluded him. He won the European Championship with Portugal in 2016. He won the Nations League. His individual records are incomprehensible. And yet the golden trophy has never been in his hands. This is his last chance. And Ronaldo, more than almost any human being who has ever played this sport, does not accept the idea of a last chance passing without a fight. Luka Modric, Croatia, age 40. There is a particular kind of footballer who does not age in the conventional sense. Players for whom the game is conducted less in the legs and more in the mind, in the reading of space, the distribution of tempo, the intelligence of movement. Luka Modric is the defining example of that type. Croatia's captain, the 2018 Ballon d'Or winner, the midfielder who dragged his country to the World Cup final that same year and to the semi-final in 2022. At 40 years old, Modric arrives at the 2026 World Cup in what has been confirmed as his final major tournament. His career at Real Madrid spans 5 Champions League titles. His career with Croatia spans a generation of footballers who built a nation's identity on the football pitch. He was the best midfielder in the world for years, not just by opinion, but by the evidence of results, trophies, and individual honors. At Euro 2024, the previous summer, Modric became the oldest player in history to score at a European Championship, finding the net at the age of 38 years and 289 days. A record that tells you everything about the man. Even in the twilight, he is still making history. He will not play 90 minutes in every game in North America. Croatia's coaching staff will manage his appearances carefully, but when Modric is on the pitch, even at 40, the team moves differently. The tempo changes, the control increases, and sometimes the extraordinary happens. Manuel Neuer, Germany, age 40. In a sport where goalkeepers routinely extend their careers beyond their outfield counterparts, Manuel Neuer is still an exceptional case. The Germany goalkeeper who revolutionized the position, whose sweeping style of goalkeeping, charging from his line to intercept through balls and engage attackers one-on-one, became a template that an entire generation of goalkeepers has tried to replicate, returns to the World Cup at the age of 40. Neuer had retired from the Germany national team. He walked away, and it seemed that his international career was complete. And then Germany's manager, Julian Nagelsmann, made a call that surprised the football world. He brought Neuer back, out of retirement, back into the squad for a tournament that, even 6 months ago, it seemed he would watch on television. The case for Neuer at 40 is specific. Germany's goalkeeping options have not fully satisfied the demands of major tournament football. And Neuer, even at this age, even after injury, retains the footballing intelligence that comes only from decades of experience at the very highest level. He may not be the Neuer of 2014, the year he was named the best goalkeeper in the world at the World Cup in Brazil. But he knows things about managing a game from the back that cannot be coached or manufactured. Germany are in Group E. Their path to the final could run through several dangerous opponents. And in knockout football, when a single mistake can end a tournament, the value of a goalkeeper with Neuer's experience is not easily quantified. Lionel Messi, Argentina. Age, 38, turning 39 during the tournament. We have arrived at the most complicated, most emotional, most debated story of the entire 2026 World Cup. Lionel Messi, the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner. The greatest player in the history of the sport. The man who in Qatar in 2022 finally completed his collection, lifting the World Cup trophy after a final against France that produced one of the greatest individual performances in the tournament's history. Messi turns 39 on the 24th of June 2026, right in the middle of Argentina's group stage. He will be by some distance the oldest outfield player Argentina have ever fielded at a World Cup, and yet he is in the squad. His manager Lionel Scaloni has described him as the only player guaranteed a place in the final 26. The prediction markets give his participation a 90% probability. Why? Because Messi at 38, playing for Inter Miami in Major League Soccer, still makes history. He became MLS's fastest player to reach 100 regular season goal contributions in 64 matches. He finished as Argentina's top scorer in World Cup qualifying. His eye for goal, his ability to conjure moments from nothing, his leadership of a dressing room that worships him, none of that has diminished. He holds the record for the most World Cup appearances of any male player, 26 matches across 5 tournaments, 13 goals. He needs 4 more to overtake Miroslav Klose as the all-time top scorer. He knows that. Every time he steps onto the pitch in North America, the record books are watching. This is his 6th World Cup. He won the 5th. The question is not whether Messi belongs at the 2026 World Cup. The question is what he will leave behind when it is over. Neymar. 34 is not old, but in the context of Neymar's career, it feels like a different kind of number. A career punctuated by the injuries that have denied him the sustained greatness that his talent so clearly warranted. A knee injury that ruled him out of the 2014 World Cup semi-final, the match in which Brazil suffered their most humiliating defeat, 7-1 against Germany on home soil. Another knee injury that complicated his 2022 campaign. A ruptured anterior cruciate ligament in late 2023 that kept him out for almost the entirety of the following year. And yet, here he is, named in Brazil's squad by Carlo Ancelotti for what will be his 4th World Cup. An extraordinary achievement for a player whose relationship with fitness has been so frequently interrupted. Ancelotti was clear in his assessment. Neymar, when available, is still an important player for Brazil. The greatest goal scorer in Brazilian history at international level. A player who at his best can decide matches in moments of individual brilliance that no opponent can plan for. Brazil's attack for 2026 is built around Vinicius Jr. and Rafinha. But the addition of Neymar, if fit, if focused, if motivated, adds a dimension that no other Brazilian player possesses. The question, as it has always been with Neymar, is whether the body will allow the talent to express itself. Edin Dzeko, Bosnia and Herzegovina, age 40. Here is the name that perhaps fewer people will recognize. But the story is no less remarkable. Edin Dzeko, Bosnia and Herzegovina's all-time leading goal scorer. The 40-year-old striker who plays in Serie A for AS Roma and who even now still finds the net with a consistency that players 20 years younger would envy. Bosnia and Herzegovina qualified for only their 2nd World Cup in history, and Dzeko, their captain, their talisman, their record breaker, is going with them at the age of 40. He has spent his career at the highest level of European club football. Manchester City, where he was part of the team that won the Premier League, Roma, Inter Milan. He has scored over 500 goals across club and country. He is the most important player in Bosnian football history. At 40, he will not press the opposition for 90 minutes. His role is different, a focal point in the final third, a target for crosses, a finisher in tight spaces, a leader who sets the standard for every training session. And in the World Cup, that kind of leadership, that kind of experience, can be the difference between surviving and being eliminated. So, 6 players, 6 stories. 6 examples of what it means to refuse the ordinary trajectory of a career. Cristiano Ronaldo making his 6th World Cup appearance at 41, still chasing the one trophy his cabinet lacks. Luka Modric conducting Croatia's midfield at 40, still the most intelligent player on the pitch. Manuel Neuer dragged out of international retirement at 40 because Germany needed the one thing money cannot buy, experience that comes only from having done it before. Lionel Messi at 38, turning 39 in the middle of the tournament, carrying the weight of a world that wants to see him go out on his own terms. Neymar at 34, back for his fourth World Cup, defying the injuries that tried to end his career. Edin Dzeko at 40, representing a nation that has qualified for only its second World Cup, still the man they look to when the game needs deciding. The 2026 World Cup will produce new stars, new records, new memories, but it will also be the last time we see this group of players, this extraordinary, unrepeatable generation, on the greatest stage that football has to offer. Watch it carefully, remember every moment, because when it is over, this particular chapter of the sport will be closed forever. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to Everything About Football for more analysis, history, and debate, the beautiful game in all its depth.